Yes, we did.
What else? And the 17 movie. So we've just been really busy on Saturday, so we just haven't had a chance to record.
Yeah, and usually on Thursdays we try to record a little bit too, but some of the Thursdays, because of me traveling down to San Antonio, you had to make up for work, and I was literally traveling, so It's like, yeah.
We just finished one miniseries. We did the hometown K-pop artist, which we covered. Alexa, who is now Serenade, but also still going by Alexa. That's a whole discussion for a different episode. We did Jesse and Jay Park, which I think is our most popular one that we did out of the three. And then we just finished Eric.
We enjoyed that one too, so.
Yeah. So we're going to start another 3-part miniseries today. We're going to skip over K-pop news because so much has happened since the last time we recorded that will be here forever.
Right.
But I know you wanted to update the bingo card because you're the only one who's getting anything on it.
No, I think this is the biggest one because you're the one who messaged me that morning, like 2 Mondays ago. You're like, "Oh my God, it's happening!" And I woke up. Yeah. I'm like, I woke up. I was like, "What's happening?" And then I looked at it, and you sent the screenshot of the tour for Ateez.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I freaked out so much, and my husband still knocked out. He was like unfazed, and then like I even like went up to him after we found like the dates and stuff like that. I went to him. I was like, "Hey, August 16th, I'm off," and he was like, "Uh-huh," and I was like, "Okay, great. So I'm off that day, right? It's a Saturday." "Uh-huh." I didn't face him till later on, like 2 days later. He was like, "Why do you need August 16th off?" I was like, "Ateez."
Which is so funny. So one, we find out Kevin's not good in a national emergency.
Yeah.
I also have mad respect to Anne because Anne is technically Kevin's boss, but still runs all her days off through him.
No, right? That's how our marriage works. But again, Kevin would sleep through. Like there was that one time we had a tornado warning watch type thing, but I think it was a warning because the tornado landed about 5 to 10 miles away from us at the airport. Like it was touching down, and like alarms were going off, and he still slept through it. He was like, "If I die, I die."
I wouldn't blame Kevin for that. That is just a Texas thing.
Yeah, like, that's true.
Here in San Antonio, we'll get the tornado warnings, and my employees, my coworkers will be freaking out. And I'm like, first off, we're a little far south for that, and two, if we die, we die. And everyone's like, "How are you so calm?" I'm like, "You don't understand. I grew up in Tornado Alley."
Literally, like, right in it, in the middle of the whole thing.
But we actually got the tickets for Ateez, which we did pre-order, 18E membership, which Anne got that all on camera. And let me just say, I will never do that again.
You know what? I thought back on it, and I actually looked through the clips again because I am making the small little vlog video of it. I remember you saying, "I'm 22," like you're in line, like your queue number 22. And I did not react because I was so in shock that I couldn't even react fast enough to it. So you're like, "I'm 22," and I was like, "I'm like 5,000 or 6,000, whatever I said." And then like, and then you can see in my eyes, like I was trying to process what you were saying, and I was freaking out, but I didn't freak out till later on.
It was very early in the morning, guys, and ironically, even though I started out at number 22, it was Anne who got the tickets, not me.
Yeah,
but we'll get to see that when she makes the vlog.
I mean, yeah, when you watch the vlog, whenever I edit and post it up, you'll see just how much of a struggle you were having, though. You said you were like getting kicked out of these other things, but I think that just happened to any of the 18Es that were trying to get through that, because I heard people were getting kicked out, things were not loading, the payment process took forever. I mean, there were so many issues anyway, so yeah, that was, and you're like, never again.
Never. Well, it's so funny because I know at one point my boss walked by, and because I went to work early to do this, and he's just looking at me while you and I are freaking out. He can't hear you. I can only hear you because I had headphones in.
So it's like one-sided conversations.
Oh yeah, but we will be at the Arlington, Texas show. I don't know why it's still listed as Dallas. Like the city didn't sue Jerry Jones for that already.
I know, right? Exactly.
But you guys will see us there. We will be handing out freebies. We'll give more updates when that goes, and we have a little fun thing planned for people to hopefully get engaged with some people who listen to our show as well.
Yeah, hopefully, or maybe just get some new listeners or watchers, or I don't know,
Either way,
people, more friends.
yes. So, like I said, we're going to do another 3-part mini-series. We're going to start diving into other genres besides pop.
Okay.
So we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on rock. Then we're going to focus on hip hop. If Anne can get this the script finished, I know it's slowly killing her from the inside because she wants to talk about everything and it not turn into its own miniseries of a miniseries. And then we're going to end off with bands, which kind of ties into what we're doing today, but we feel like those individuals deserve their own actual discussion.
Yeah, definitely.
So I will be taking the reign on this one. This is going to be really fun. I've been wanting to do this for a very, very long time because we've discussed before that Anne and I's taste in music is so wild. Like,
Yeah.
I'm really not the bubblegum pop type of person unless you go into the, like Astro, but go and watch that video where Anne's just glaring at me and calling me a liar while she's being discovered. She's discovering this group.
Right, there should have been a count of me calling, like how many times I called you a liar.
We both like the same groups for the most part, but I tend to like more rock. Anne's more hip hop. I actually have a screenshot of her having to talk herself down in the script, which I'll show during that episode.
Dude, it's my god, it was. Oh man, I know. You should see the script I have now. It's long. It's long.
I wish I'd recorded you while you were here for J-Hope, because I know at one point you were having a minor mental breakdown trying to write the script. I know I ended up putting on I Use Palette with G-Dragon, and you're like, okay, I'm not going to work on this anymore.
Yeah, and then like halfway through that episode, I went, I should put G-Dragon in there, right? And you're like, well, I was like, no, I should put G-Dragon in there. I opened my laptop, I was like,
poor Anne. Anytime she wants to talk about hip hop, it turns into an entire thing.
I know, and it went so off track and in track, and then like, you know, like my playlist is all over the place too. Every once in a while, it'll play like some oldies songs that I haven't heard. Like it'll be like second gen, like Beast, or it'll be like Girls' Generation or Infinite. Sometimes these old like hip hop songs that will come on, and I'm like, oh, I should add them in too. I was like, no, Anne, don't.
I told you guys, this is going to turn into a mini docu-series inside of the middle of our mini-series.
Right, it's a 20-part mini-series. It's just
I'm not even in half the episodes. It's just Anne with a whiteboard doing a TED Talk.
Yeah. Right, exactly. Hey, I have a friend who has a whiteboard in their living room. I can probably borrow it.
Stop making friends. To say that K-pop is a global sensation goes without saying. The bridge was originally formed with the help of Wonder Girls being the opening act for the Jonas Brothers back in 2009 and their very own Teen Nick movie, which we will watch it at some point, guys. That is so early 2010s.
I know. But it's so again, the fact that cliche.
It is so cliche, but the fact that, again, this no-name group here in America got their own movie, you'll just have to see it.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
There was Psy's Gangnam Style, which had a chokehold on the country for a while. But it was really to efforts of artists Eric Nam and groups like Blackpink, BTS, Monsta X, and 17, among many others, who really helped break down that barrier. While there are limited resources when we started, Anne can tell you so many stories about staying up late to watch music shows, having multiple music tabs open to get those music video counts in. Netizens today have such easier access to music. K-pop artists have their songs on American radio station. There's always some idol or group that is touring on our soil, which again, we can attest. Just the last 2 years, we've had 3 years actually. We've had Mamamoo, Stray Kids. I've had Eric Nam, Vanner, K-Con, Ateez again, 17 again,
Yeah.
Extraordinary Heroes, which you're going to. Like, it's just almost every other week, I feel like there's somebody who's currently touring.
Right. You know what's really funny? Because, so then we have ones that you would never imagine would be here, right? Then suddenly IU's like, oh, I'm doing a world tour. Joke's on
Yeah.
you. And then now we're having 21 and G Dragon coming back into America after, the whole second generation era time, right?
Yeah.
They're going to Head in the Clouds, hosted by A8 Rising. It's unimaginable. Like, if you told me back then, hey, 21's gonna go to Head in the Clouds or like this like music festival, I'll be like, you're a liar. Like, it's the same thing with Coachella right now. They're having
Yeah.
Hyphen there, they're having XG there. There was rumors for Twice, but I don't think Twice would fit. But I mean, it could work out. But I mean,
the other one is Jenny and Lisa are both performing there.
yeah, Lisa performed yesterday, and I actually watched that live stream with my husband, and he was like, isn't it wild that this is happening now? And he even asked me, he was like, hey, who's the first like K-pop Korean artist that actually performed Coachella? And I was like, it was actually Epic High. They were like the first one in 2016, 2017. Don't kill me if I said it wrong, but it's around that time. So, and then from there, they just added more and more and more because they didn't think that this is gonna bring so much of a crowd. Now it's like the whole crowd for Lisa. All you saw was like the Blackpink light sticks and the Lisa light sticks too, which was dangerous. I saw someone doing this. I'm like, no. That star was getting real close to someone's head. I was like,
Just I can't imagine having to explain that to an ER nurse of like what you got struck in the eyeball with.
Going to the medical tent, you're like, I got struck by a star edge of the light stick for Lisa, and she was like, okay, sure.
K-pop is so well known here now that even our parents have been exposed to it.
Oh, yeah.
Your dad knows who SF9 is, and my mom actually got to see Wonho during the Jingle Ball tour last year, and she'll be joining us next month at Choctaw. Point is, the impact that K-pop has had on a global scale cannot be understated. But what a lot of netizens seem to miss is that there's so many more genres out there that have come out of Korea besides just pop. So in this 3-part miniseries, we're going to dive into a few of those other genres and showcase a few groups we think listeners should look into. In part 1, which is what we're doing today, we'll take a deep dive into the power and explosive vocals of Korean rock and EDM. Part 2 will focus on the Korean hip-hop and rap scene. We'll introduce everyone to artists with creative and powerful lyrics that have driven both the underground and mainstream scene. Lastly, we'll take a moment to look at artists that go beyond the normal expectations for an idol, that not only sing, but actually play instruments, in an episode that's just about band. So just to kind of touch on this genre, out of the 3 that we're going to explore, rock seems to be the least tapped. It's not uncommon that you'll find groups that have a slight rock and roll element to their songs, such as Rock With You by 17 or Halazia and Gorilla by Ateez. These are probably some of the songs that would come to mind if you went up to a random K-pop stan and said, hey, name a rock song from K-pop. Right. There are even idols that do rock and roll versions of their own songs, such as Alexa partnering with Diablo to do a metal version of Bomb, and Rolling Quartz for a rock version of Extra. Instead, we want to look at groups that either are predominantly rock or their entire discography or a good portion of it has that rock sound to it, which we're going to focus more on actual music versus the groups. We do have groups and videos picked out, but we don't want to focus solely on the groups and artists because we want to give those artists their own actual episode.
Right, correct.
So these groups are actually going to focus more on shying away from the bright and poppy sounds of K-pop, and they have ventured more into the powerful vocals with darker concepts attached to them. The problem with the genre like rock is that it's such a broad term. Outside of Korea, when you ask someone who their favorite rock artist is, it's like handing someone a loaded gun. Some may say Tina Turner or Elvis, while others can just as easily say Pantera or Nightwish. Rock also has so many genres to pick from. You've got punk, which is known for its fast-paced and rebellious spirit, metal, defined by heavier guitar riffs and powerful vocals, or even symphonic metal, which blends metal with orchestral elements. The list really could go on forever. Traditionally, Korean music has had a greater focus on ballad and dance music, which has caused rock to remain more of a niche genre. Again, you go up to any standard K-pop artist and ask them what their top 5 artists are. They're probably going to be poppy, bright, bubblegum type of groups.
Definitely.
Even if it's a group that has a strong rap line, most of the song is probably still going to be pop related. But that's going to be something that we're going to see in this episode, that there's not just one blanket style of rock when it comes to K-rock. We've chosen 4 groups who each dip their toes into different genres of rock. We'll venture into the EDM side of the genre, and then shift over to a more metal and symphonic sound. 2 things before we begin. 1, let's give an honorable mention to Diamond, whose debut Burn Up was more of a grunge sound, very reminiscent of the 90s rock that Aiden and I grew up with.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the group seems to have shifted to more pop focused sounds with their more recent comebacks, so they won't be featured here. But also a photosensitive warning going forward, guys. A lot of these videos, which I have 4 videos and 1 lyric video, a lot of them are going to have flashing lights, lightning, things that are associated with things that you would normally associate with rock. So if you do have photosensitive issues, please be careful going forward. So first off, we have Dystopia by B.A.P. So we've done an entire episode about B.A.P, which please go check that out. That was a whole bunch of fun. It was also Anne's birthday episode.
Oh, yeah, it was. Dude, I blanked out.
We are so busy that half the time we're like, wait, did we already do this? Have we done this already?
I can still barely believe it's like kind of midway through April as of recording right now. I'm just like, I'm still in March. Like, spring break is coming up for my kid, right? Like,
I feel that. Next thing you know, it's going to be Wonho and then Ateez and then the kiddo's birthday.
Oh my god. Which, by the way, maybe we should do a vlog on kiddo's birthday because it's going to be a huge deal.
Very big deal. 17 for 17.
Oh yeah, definitely. They already figured out what they want on their cake. I know we're going off tangent, but I want to say this real quick. I know what they want for they told me what they wanted for their cake. They want their cake to be just like a normal round cake or whatever and all these things. But on the top, it'll have the word saying going 17.
Nice.
It's so cute. Don't know how we're going to decorate it, but we'll figure it out later on. All right, moving on.
At least they don't want one of the spinning cakes that 17 has started doing.
Dude. I kind of want to buy that, but it would just be like sushi. That's all I want. It's just sushi.
That's funny. So we discussed about how they broke the stereo K-pop sound all the way back with their debut.
Right.
While the group focused mostly on being a hip-hop unit with some cutesy pop sprinkled in here or there, that's a whole different episode right there, is looking at weird cutesy B.A.P songs.
I know. I think we included that in that episode too, and the whole time we're like, "What's going on? What is happening? Where are the dorks?" Yeah, that was us the whole time.
A lot of B.A.P's tracks actually have fused hip hop and rock. Warrior featured very powerful vocals, intense rap verses, and a strong driving rock influenced beat, giving it almost a metal sound, which was unheard of during that early 3rd generation.
Yeah, definitely.
This continued on with other comebacks that were more aggressive and featured heavy guitar work, such as No Mercy, Power, Bad Man, Bang Bang x3, Skydive, and even the ballad 1004 Angel had a strong rock ballad element to it. It wasn't until Young, Wild, and Free that B.A.P released a song that was truly a more rock than hip-hop sound. The song featured vocal style changes from members Daeyeon and Youngjae, and it even featured Him Chan's lower register, which I actually thought was Jungkook the entire time, until Anne actually corrected me.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that. I don't know. It's just because Him Chan himself does have a lower register in his voice, but Jungkook just has that certain voice that he has that distinctly says this is Jungkook. That's why I thought you would know.
No, I mean, I even mentioned it in that episode. If you go back, I'm like, why is Him Chan singing Jungkook's part? And you're like, no, that's Him Chan. And I'm like, no, it's not. Which now looking back, it does miss that unique Jungkook sound, because Jungkook's voice is very gravelly, almost like if you put this is a stupid analogy, but like if you put coins in a blender and turned it on, his voice kind of has that roughness to it.
I think that's the best way to put it. That's why I was like, yeah, no, that's Him Chan, because Him Chan's voice, although very lower register, it's smooth as well. It's kind of like when Wonwoo would be singing, kind of
That's true.
sense. But then rapping, because when Wonwoo raps, it's a little bit more gravelly, but when he sings, it's
Yeah.
a lot more smoother. That's how I can compare to it.
Don't even get me started on Wonwoo singing. I can do a whole episode about Carrot Land, but we're not going to do that right now.
Woo! Oh no, that was so that live stream though.
The instrumentals are driven by heavily distorted guitar riffs and a powerful driving drum beat that creates a sense of relentless energy. It also emphasizes B.A.P's rebellious spirit following their lawsuit loss against TS Entertainment.
Yes.
Let's not get it started again.
Justice.
The song we're going to focus on today is from their album Rose. While the title track is Wake Me Up, we already covered that one in our B.A.P retrospective. Instead, we're going to showcase Dystopia. This song features insanely powerful instrumentals, creates an atmosphere of urgency and tension, and is a perfect example to show how B.A.P can blend both rock and hip hop together. Unfortunately, there's not an actual video for it, which is criminal to me. But I also know that this is the album where Jungkook stepped back, so that might also explain why there's not one. And there wasn't really much of a audience for this, because when this song came out, it was like 3 months after Dreamcatcher actually debuted, so there wasn't really a K-rock scene.
Yeah, this is something that we would definitely listen to in high school. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, this is very much like My Chemical Romance, 3 Days Grace, Avenged Sevenfold.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And those were big back then, because I think that's when like Hot Topic was coming out, and it's like all dark and mysterious.
Oh yeah. But there's such a difference in the way that Youngjae, Daeyeon, and Jungkook sing in this song to fit the vibe. Because that's definitely something that a lot of groups struggle with, that they can't adjust their personal sound to match the sound of the song.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, Jungkook's voice just fits the rock genre so well.
It really does, and I think that's one thing that works out so well with a lot of their earlier stuff. Because it, like I said, it was hip hop, but it was definitely had a rock influence to it.
Man, I almost forgot that Himchan can also hit the higher registers too sometimes. It almost catches me off guard. I'm like, whoa, Himchan.
I think the only person who really suffers during this song is Zello, because he doesn't have as big of a role, and I think because his voice is so high and bright that he didn't get as many lines in this song.
Yeah, this is not really a song that you're rapping really fast to, and that's like his talent, so. But I do like how like Daehyun's voice throughout this whole thing is kind of like that desperation type thing, the helplessness of it, whereas Youngjae is like that powerful voice as well. It works so well together.
And then just like you said, that part where Jungkook just comes in and says one or two words, that roughness, that gravel just fits the vibe so well.
Definitely.
And then this part.
Yeah. I mean, if Jungkook just debuts on his own in a rock band, I'm all for it.
Oh yeah.
Which is kind of crazy, because I think his solo albums are mostly like hip-hop R&B.
Yeah. I do like Jungkook coming in and just doing a couple of things like Jungkook does, because his voice is so opposite of what Jungkook provides.
Yeah, definitely. Such a good song.
Such a good song. Honestly, if I love B.A.P. I love their hip hop and all that. But if they had debuted like something like Rolling Courts or Day 6, I would have 100% been sold right from the beginning.
I know, but then you're also kind of imagining them playing instruments if they go through like the Day 6 route, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine them playing instruments? I'll be like, no. It's gonna be like Jackson Wayne, who was like, oh yeah, can you imagine me Day 6? I'm trying.
If y'all have not seen that episode, if you have not seen that episode of the Daybox show, guys, that is so funny. I mean, there's a lot of great moments in it, but my favorite part is literally Jackson Wayne going, "What the fuck was I gonna do in Day 6?
What's J.Y.P. thinking? Put me in the band. What would I do? Play the triangle?" And Eric's like, "Yeah, bro."
And then Ashley's over there like, "What is this?"
And then like Jackson Wayne's and Pino's like bromance is so funny. I was like, "Oh my god."
Oh, Lord. It's always a good time when Jackson and Eric get together.
Oh my god. The fact that Jackson Wayne is just literally everywhere right now. I think he's currently in LA, which makes sense because he might be preparing for that Head in the Clouds thing.
Yeah.
But he's like popping up in all these random TikTok influencers stuff, streaming videos. I was just like, he's just going on like this promo run for his album.
Good for him. He's probably riding the wave of the GOT7 comeback. And he's like, this is going to be a good time to go ahead and drop this. Plus, he's got his collaboration with Heidi Lau as well.
I missed out. I think it's over already. I didn't get it.
I think it's still going because I want to say I keep seeing them post stuff about it.
I had to look it up. I did do a reservation for Heidi Lau next week with our friends, so we'll see.
I'm just saying, those photo cards are going to go for so much online. It's going to be ridiculous.
They really are, and I'm trying to get my husband to go, and he was like, no, and I was just like, ah.
Just be like, either you come in or I'm cutting your hours.
There you go.
Alrighty, so another common trend is fusing rock with EDM. So we just did metal. That was definitely very much a very metal song. Definitely. So now we're going to switch over to, like I said, rock with EDM. All hours, which could be pronounced as all hours, like hours on a clock, or all hours, like all of mine, is a newly debuted group that literally just debuted January of last year.
Okay.
They quickly demonstrated a talent for this fusion. Their overall sound is characterized by intense, energetic tracks that draw heavily from both rock and EDM influences. Specifically, All Hours leverages the aggressive energy of rock, often through distorted guitar riffs and powerful drum patterns, seamlessly blends these elements with a pulsating beat and layered synthesizers, which is very typical of EDM music. Right. This creates a high-octane sound that resonates with modern audiences. The result is a sound that feels both raw and polished, demonstrating a sophisticated understanding of the genre blending. The song that we're going to look into is Shock. This grabs audience's attention right away from the first beat. The track boasts a heavy synthesizer sound, very remarkably reminiscent of early 90s EDM, similar to the original Mortal Kombat theme. So when I first heard this song, that is what I heard. I was like, what is this like Mortal Kombat going on?
Fight!
Right. It is incredibly aggressive, but also in a style that puts audiences on edge of their seats, unable to turn away. So I actually just discovered them last year. I remember when we went to Music Plaza in LA. That was the first album I found. I was like, oh my God, they have All Hours. Gimme, gimme, gimme.
I remember you saying that too, because I think you couldn't find it online or something, or it's just not.
Yeah, it was sold out.
Yeah, it was sold out. So saying that, you're like, yes. I was like, okay, cool.
Okay, so this song actually just came out in July of last year, so it's relatively new. I think it's their first official comeback.
Okay, it says 9 months.
What?
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely Mortal Kombat.
Right?
Have a controller and start playing.
That's my bias, the leader, Kunho.
You know what? I can see why. Because he almost looks like Shonu.
Yes, I think that's what it is too.
I do like how they are mixing like choreography into this as well.
Oh yeah, and that's something
Even though
that we're
it's
going to
like a
see
hard
with all
song.
these groups is that they don't throw aside being performers just to be a rock group.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
I want to say that All Hours is what I would have expected Diamond to become.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. This and then and honestly for B.A.P, I think they could have been like this as well if they lean more towards into it rather than going back and forth with all the different genres they've been doing in their music
fully
career.
agree.
Yeah, because now that I'm thinking about it, when they did Bang ×2 during their concert, I don't think there was a choreography. I think it was just literally them like kind of hopping around and headbanging. Right. If they did Bang ×2 like this, I think that would be like the perfect example of it.
Yeah, I fully agree. I will say the only thing about this group that I think is a little off-putting is they have a member, I'm going to mispronounce his name, but it's Onan, I think, or Onan. It's O-N :N. This guy right here, the really cute guy.
Onan? Okay, Onan. Okay, sure, yeah.
Because he just looks really cutesy. Like, I would expect him in, like, 17 or Boy Next Door or something, whereas everyone else clearly fits that rock and roll vibe a little more.
I wonder if they just styled him wrong then, you know?
Well, he's the center. He's the visual of the group.
Huh. Okay.
But I can literally see this movie being in that Mortal Kombat movie that they did a couple of years ago.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Have the music playing in the background. That was really good.
I really liked it.
Yeah.
All their other songs, Wow Wow, Gotcha, they're a little less EDM, more on the rock side.
Okay.
Their most recent comeback, Gimme Gimme, I want to say is not as rock, so I'm hoping that they'll stick with this vibe versus going the route that Diamond went with.
Right, because I think with how music is now, and then, you know, maybe people are trying to like explore outside of just pop, maybe this will kind of help, you know, if they keep it going, you know, it could be like their thing rather than falling into of being mainstream K-pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because if you remember back at KCON, Diamond only performed 2 songs, I believe, because they were in the pre-show.
Yeah.
They did Burning Up, which you and I got really, really into. We were like, okay, this is cool. This is very punk. But then they did Boys Like Girls, which shifted completely and was very cutesy, very lovey-dovey. And we were both like, one, we were confused.
Yeah,
but we were also
so confused.
But we were also like, wow, the duality of this group. But unfortunately, it seems that they have continued to go that route versus sticking with what they debuted with.
Right, which is kind of sad because, like, I kind of wish they stuck with that because it could have been like, kind of like BTS, B.A.P, where they stuck with their own certain genre, you know?
Right.
They're in the main lane, but then once BTS became mainstream, of course, they had to become more pop focused. But I think people would have liked it if Diamond just stuck with that whole rock, a little bit of punk type of feel to it. So
I know that they did lose a member. I don't know his name, unfortunately. I know that if you look at their like debut album, he's the guy with the really big red spiked hair. I know that
him?
he left.
Oh,
yeah.
Dang, that sucks.
Yeah, it was announced a couple of months ago.
I wonder if because of that they decided to change their like image or something. I don't know.
It's very possible. We'll just have to see going forward what they decide to do.
Right.
All right, so that was Shocked by All Hours. Very heavy guitars, very EDM, flashing lights, the lightning, even focused on the theme of like a goblin monster if you watch it with the captions. New group, like I said, I really hope they stick with this route and that they experiment a little bit, but I think this is very much my alley. Like I said, and you said, as soon as the song started, this was very much Mortal Kombat. Very.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Grabbed your attention immediately. So I have high hopes for All Hours. I know they just did their first fan con, or they're about to. So hopefully they'll be able to bring in enough success to keep going.
Fingers crossed. And hey, if they happen to decide to tour in the US, I would definitely go to it.
Oh, I will too.
Yeah.
So we're actually going to leave the boys behind now, and we're going to focus on 2 rock girl groups.
Which is really cool.
Very, very cool. And I think that these 2 groups focus into the more typical rock sound that you and I are familiar with.
Right.
So we're going to focus first on Pink Fantasy. Pink Fantasy is a K-pop group renowned for their darker and more unconventional approach. While they don't adhere to a single music style, they're known for their eclectic experimentation, seamlessly blending typical K-pop with rock, electronic music, and even incorporating some samples from classical compositions. The group consistently weaves dark and fantasy-themed concepts into their music and visuals, featuring elements like battle wounds and witchcraft to cultivate a distinct and almost eerie atmosphere. A signature element of their persona is the masked member Dawang, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that, whose identity has remained concealed throughout the entire group's tenure. This adds a layer of mystery and intrigue to the overall vibe. Their song Poison exemplifies their talent for fusing electronic music with heavy rock elements, resulting in a unique and subtly unsettling soundscape. The members' powerful and emotive vocals combined with the intense instrumentals creates a palpable sense of unease, further enhancing the song's captivating and dark atmosphere.
So the masked person, she never like reveals her face, like
Nope.
even out. Really?
Nope.
Since debut?
Since debut, no one has ever seen her face.
I would hate that, but also kind of works out. But then it's like, okay, I'm trying to play the scenario in my head before we start the music video. I'm playing the scenario in my head, like say they have a fan sign, and then like you're transporting to like different places, different schedules. She just has her face on the whole time.
I don't think she has the rabbit mask on the entire time, but she probably wears like a face mask and like sunglasses and a hat or something.
Just like fully covered up.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, sure, you go,
that,
girl.
Or maybe they have her go on with the staff, and she dresses similar to the staff since nobody knows what she looks like.
Blends in. Oh, that'd be kind of cool, actually. Okay. I just wanted to know because I'm just trying to fathom the fact that no one has ever seen her face, and then it makes people want to see her face even more.
Yep.
Oh no. It's like EXO's mama. A cult. Sorry. Classic like rock sound.
Oh yeah.
With a little bit of pop into it. When the girl with the higher notes was rapping. Okay.
That's very. That was very like Avenged Sevenfold right there.
Whoa.
And then you can see DeWong over in the background.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So was there a reason why that she's mask the whole time, or is she kind of like the?
It's just a prop almost. It's just an aspect of like she is like Bong Bongi, I guess you would say, of 17.
Oh, okay. Excuse me. That was pretty cool, though. I was very caught off guard with that screamo part. Whoa!
So Peak Fantasy kind of gives me like anti-Twice vibes. Like they're like the evil version of Twice.
Yeah. Like culty, darker themes, but makeup and their clothes kind of speaks out to what genre they're really going for.
Yeah, definitely. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the group did disband as of July of last year.
Well, that sucks.
So, from what I've read, there's a couple of members that have stayed together, and they have a new group called like P Fantasy or the P Project or something like that. So far, they've only been doing fan things in Japan, so I don't know what the future of the group is. But definitely had to include them because when you think of rock, especially more heavy metal side of rock,
right?
Especially here in like America or in England, it's a very male dominated genre. So definitely had to showcase these girls too. The next group, it's 2 videos, 1 group. So it is absolutely impossible to have a deep dive into K-Rock without mentioning Dreamcatcher. I feel like anyone who is enough into K-pop outside of maybe they only like Blackpink or they only like BTS has heard of who Dreamcatcher is. While B.A.P may have set the stage for groups to break away from stereotypical sounds in K-pop, it was Dreamcatcher who took that flame and absolutely ran with it. Funnily enough, they were originally a cute pop group called Minx, which they disbanded and re-debuted as Dreamcatcher with their album Nightmare. While risky, the re-debut was a massive success.
Now, is the members of Minx the same members as Dreamcatcher?
Some of them are.
Some of them are. Okay, because you said that they disbanded and re-debuted, and I was like, did they really disband if they kept the same members, or did they actually, like, kept some, and then, like, maybe add more in, some left, that sort of
thing? So it was all the members that we currently have. So Jiyu, Suwa, Siyun, Yuyun, and Dami.
Okay.
Were all part of, they were Minx. Okay. We added Hendong and Gayon when they re-debuted as Dreamcatcher.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Interesting. All right.
So VAV did something very similar as well, which we'll do that episode later, but they lost 2 members. I think it was actually the 2 Chinese members that left.
Of course it would be.
And then one of the Korean members left. So when they didn't officially re-debut, kind of like how Binks did. Right. But so B.A.P, when they came back, they added Lou, who I'm surprised was not part of the original group. And they also added, I'm going to mispronounce this and again apologize, Jew? It's Z-I-U.
Z-I-U? Jew? Zoo? Z-I-U? Jew.
Because I know that makes a J sound.
Yeah. Jew? Now I'm saying like True's name in Vietnamese. Jew? Oh, well.
Oh, Jewy. It's Jewy. I'm looking at our script for VAV. It's Jewy.
Okay, it's Jewy. Okay, cool.
Anyways, that was a weird tangent to go off on. So Dreamcatcher takes what the last three groups have produced, and they are seamlessly able to create diverse sounds, which is what makes them so unique. A rock group through and through, but Dreamcatcher also dabbles in rock, metal, and even progressive rock. They're able to create their unique sounds through distorted guitar riffs, powerful drum beats, and dramatic vocal performances. This is incorporated by music videos that are heavily influenced by fantasy and horror. Many other videos include themes of witchcrafts, ghosts, and hauntings. This is partnered with very theatrical and sometimes intertwined music videos such as Chase Me and Goodnight. The group also features a very diverse vocal range. Members like Siyun and Sua are able to provide higher cadences, while Dami and Yuyun are able to provide the opposite. Dami is even able to seamlessly provide rap lines in between the members' other intense vocals. Dreamcatcher took what B.A.P had already established with their blend of hip-hop and rock and allowed groups like Pink Fantasy and All Hours to have a platform to release more experimental music. We're going to look at Scream. This is one of my favorite songs of all time. So this song is part of an overarching storyline that began with Piri and Deja Vu, but it's the beginning of the Dystopia series, followed up by Boca and Ateez.
Okay.
The song is a strong blend of metal and electronica. It showcases Dreamcatcher's signature heavy sound with a larger emphasis on the electronic side compared to their earlier works. This video is visually stunning with a dark and dramatic imagery. It is complemented by lyrics that address the themes of suppression and wanting to break free from one's own limitation. Cool thing about this song is that they even incorporated actual screams into the backtrack.
Okay.
So this video will start off with a little introduction. Like I mentioned, it is part of their Dystopia series, which we were actually 100% going to do an actual Dreamcatcher episode, so we'll focus more on the Dystopia series at that time. Like Anne did with hip-hop, I had to actually stop myself from writing more when it came to this section. I just kind of flew with it, and I was like, no.
Yeah, definitely.
Rock episode. This is not a Dreamcatcher episode. Focus.
Right. It's so hard.
It is very hard, especially when you enjoy these artists so much. You want to just sing their praises, but like, that is for a different time.
Yeah, definitely. And I know Dreamcatcher is like one of your favorite groups as well, too. So
definitely, I followed off a little bit because they've gotten more pop and electronic. But when we do the Dreamcatcher episode, we'll have Roseanne on the show. That girl is an insomnia through and through.
Oh no.
Also, I wish people did this now, where they tell us who is singing in the captions.
Right? Or you can pick your bias a little quicker.
Right? That's actually how Guyon became my bias from this video.
Okay. I think that rap in it fits in so well too.
It does, and again, notice how she's easily able to have a break in between Guyon's more higher cadence and then Sua's higher cadence with her almost Moonbyul level register that she has.
definitely. I mean, not many. Well, there's also not many rock groups, but just incorporating rap into it seems kind of unheard of, but it works
Yeah.
really well in this, especially for a girl group because most girls have a higher register in voice, whereas they have a lower register like moonbills, as you said. So it works a lot better because when you're thinking about like B.A.P, Jungkook rapping, you're like, yeah, that makes sense because that's Jungkook.
Yeah, and especially because they're more hip hop focused, whereas again, these two genres shouldn't work together so well,
Yeah.
but somehow all these groups have found a way to make it work.
Yeah, definitely. And on top of that, just doing the choreography too, because you don't really think, like for most rock bands here in America, right? Like My Chemical Romance and all that stuff, they don't dance around. They're just playing their instruments,
Some head banging and jumping up and down, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, it even says to be continued.
Yep. I love that song so much. And it's really funny because
That's a really good song.
So this was, I think, the comeback where I actually discovered them.
Okay.
Because I think Pity was the song that introduced me to them. Or Deja Vu, one of those two. And it actually took up until I started working on the script. I didn't notice the scream as part of the backtrack.
Yeah, I've noticed it, but that's only because you pointed it out. I feel like if you didn't mention it, I wouldn't have even noticed it because it was blended in really well.
Oh yeah, definitely. And one thing that I really like about Dreamcatcher is the fact that all of their music videos are very, very theatrical.
Yes.
And like you mentioned, they don't sacrifice choreography to get us the sound.
Right.
They are showing that they are not the stereotypical K-pop girlies, and they can do everything that those girls do plus more.
Right. Exactly.
Which we're going to see in this next video. So this video was added to our list literally yesterday. I was going back and forth on which one to do because I wanted to do their Japanese single, Don't Light My Fire, because it's very much more symphonic metal.
Okay.
And also kind of almost samples the Halloween theme, but I was like, okay, no, I want to showcase them being able to dance, because I think that's something that we've mentioned, that All Hours, Pink Fantasy are not sacrificing choreography to get the sound. And I asked 3 separate insomnias on which video to do. And it all came down to the same two: Odd Eye, which is the sequel to Scream that we just saw. And Vision. So it was actually Roseanne and I that sat down at work on Saturday, and we both decided that between choreography, vocals, and just overall visuals, that we were going to do Vision. Which this one, very heavy photosensitive warning on it because there's a lot of lightning strikes and stuff like that. So please, guys, be careful while watching this with us. And this is going to be a completely different sound from what we just listened to.
You know what this kind of reminds me of?
What?
B.A.P's Wake Me Up.
Yes.
Yeah.
It also almost gives a warrior feel to it, like the scenery and all that.
A little bit of warrior, yeah. Yeah, I feel like this one is a little bit more like rock, whereas Scream is kind of like a metal rock.
Yeah. Dami's
Yeah.
rap here works so well in this song.
Mm.
And also, being able to write a lyric with Jackie Chan in it.
Yeah. Boss. Boss. But you're right, though. Her voice register is kind of close to Moonbeal, which I think really works well because you do need that lower vocal for rock music in general.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Unless you're Screamo, then Screamo you're fine with being a higher range too.
Yeah, especially to complement and also contrast her other members.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna definitely have to do a Dreamcatcher episode because there's this whole bunch of lore. I'm like, okay, it's like going to Ateez lore. You're like, what's going on?
So this started their Eco Warrior thing.
Okay.
So the lore behind this is that a lot of their music has to do with the consequences of actions. And so this kind of starts the whole thing of where we've made negative decisions that have destroyed our planet, and Dreamcatcher has come down to save us.
Well, shit, can you do that in real life? It's like, sending Red Velvet to North Korea. Oh. Nice. That was really good.
I love that song. And the funny thing is, I didn't actually see the video until we started doing research for this, and I was like, okay, apparently I missed this one, and I wanted to put that one in because that one's a little more choreographed than some of their other ones.
Yeah, because the other ones, I can tell they're putting more effort into their vocals and everything. This one, if you put no music right in it and you just show them doing the choreography, I would assume it's like some sort of like K-pop song. You know what I'm saying? Because it's so choreographed. Choreographed? Yeah, choreographed. Yeah. The lines of H-Mart has killed me.
We're old guys. Our brains sometimes don't work.
No, I don't. But no, I do enjoy that. But I can see why you chose that because they're not giving up their rock sound, the concept that the group is standing for. But I can see why they're doing more quote unquote K-pop choreography to kind of still keep people in. Does that make sense? Like you're still trying to fit into that genre, but also doing something different because that's the only way they can be more mainstream.
Oh yeah, it's definitely more keeping up with the other girlies, but keeping their own unique sound at the same time. Like I would like to listen to an instrumental of that song because that guitar riff that we keep getting, that bum 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 bum, was like my ears kept like going away from the members and listening to that because that was so strong. And then again, really the way that Vision starts out, kind of slow and ballady, and then that drop when the guitar finally comes in.
Yeah, that was so good.
I'm so mad that Rose got to go see them in Houston a couple months ago, and I wasn't able to go with her because that show had to have been something amazing.
Oh my gosh, yes. Can you imagine? I imagine it's gonna be like, have you heard of this group, this Japanese girl group called Baby Metal?
Yes. Actually, Rose is going to see them in June in Houston.
I'm so jealous. Oh my god. Yeah, I just imagine it's like that. It's just maybe not a whole bunch of grown men, but like just like K-pop fans in general getting together and just like kind of like headbanging it together and dancing at the same time. So that's what I imagine.
Believe it or not, Anne, neither of those songs got a win.
Sucks. Who are they going against? Hold on. When did this promo come out? Who were they going against? It can't be. If they went against like G-Dragon, there's no way.
Let's see if Google will provide me with any answers.
I had to dig real deep for that one.
Oh, so they actually were in second for Scream.
Okay,
They were
cool.
against
So they were close.
Is One. They lost against Is One for their song Fiesta.
But okay, but Is One was kind of getting really popular during that time though. So because it just came from that Produce 101 thing. So
And then they lost to G Idol for Queen Card.
okay, well, I'm so sorry, but G Idol. Sorry, Dreamcatcher, but G Idol, my girls. Yeah, no, with those songs, they can definitely win. Honestly, it just comes down to fan base and then
Yes.
who they're going up against. Because it's kind of like, it doesn't matter, this is going to sound so bad, doesn't matter if 17 comes back, Blackpink comes back, all these other things, and then the moment they say BTS is doing a thing or even a solo thing, game over. They're automatically going to, because it's based on votes. So you can't win that, you know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it comes down to. But that's a shame. I'm glad Scream got second though, but they went against
they got second both times, which I think speaks volumes about the fact that it was two major players at the time who actually were able to win over them. Versus like, I mean, I'm gonna get hate for this, I'm sure, somewhere, but like Elite winning on any music show, like if they had beat Dreamcatcher or something, I would have been pissed. Because we all know that Elite is a visual group. They're not really singers. I'm not going to get into that because
it's a TikTok sound. That's the reason why they got super popular. Yeah, no, I totally get that. I was going to say something else, but I forgot what it was. Trying to figure out what was I supposed to say. Oh, okay. But I mean, for them to place second, because if that's the best they can do, it just also opens the door of like, hey, there are fans out there that actually enjoy this genre. It's not just, K-pop anymore. They're enjoying this kind of like rock feel now.
Right. They actually did not get their first win until 3 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Actually, it's about to be the 3rd anniversary of their first win because it was on April 20th, 2022 is when they got their first one.
Wow. Okay. So it's been a while.
Which we'll actually, when we do the Dreamcatcher episode, we'll actually see that one.
Okay, cool.
But that was K-Rock, guys. I didn't write an ending for this episode. I was focused so much on the actual everything else. I didn't write an ending, but I think this is a very strong start to what we were trying to do with this miniseries. This was difficult because when you say rock, again, it's so broad, but also we didn't include Day 6, Rolling Quartz, FT Island, Sea and Blue, Extraordinary Heroes. We didn't, because they're their own thing. If Dreamcatcher came out and was playing musical instruments, then they would have been in the other episode.
Right. At that point, we probably would have put rock and band all together, honestly. Just be like this huge series. Yeah. But
I'm hoping that hoping we get a little more into this genre. A lot of groups are experimenting with it. Again, 17 did a rock version of Rock With You. Alexa's done a couple of rock covers of their own songs. Monsta X's last comeback, Beautiful Liar, definitely had more of a rock and roll feel to it than some of their other ones. So it's there. I just think a lot of groups are not willing to risk the chance to actually do that genre. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's the same way. Like Epic High actually it's not rock, but they did have, it's a rock feel, like a rock genre, but with hip hop elements in it too. Which, fun fact, Infinite was actually in their pre-debut when they were trainees in the same company. Yeah, and they were playing instruments, but it did have that rock feel. But I can totally get a lot of groups are doing maybe like a song or two that has the rock feel, but they're not fully committed into that genre.
Yeah, I mean, I would say one of the groups that I would say would be the closest to it would probably be Monsta X. They do a lot of rock sounds. And 17 does a lot of them too. Like think of Fear and Fearless. Again, Rock With You, but then they'll turn it around and they'll do Adore You or God of Music, which is
and you're
like
just
the anti-version of rock.
Right, and they'll keep doing Aren't You Nice, and you're like, I'm tired, let's go.
Yeah, I didn't warn Ray about the Infinite Aren't You Nice when we went and saw the movie.
Oops. Just kept going and going and going.
she just kept looking at me like, "Is this gonna end?" I'm like, "You have to experience it."
Even in the movie theaters, you have to experience it.
Right. But guys, go and give these groups listen to. All Hours is new, so they're still definitely doing stuff. Dreamcatcher, this is their 8th anniversary, I believe.
I think so. They've been around for a while.
Yeah, and again, to go from a bubblegum cutesy group to this, they deserve all of the love in the world, and all their songs are good. All the members have solo stuff. I know that Sion and Dami did the title track to a zombie OST.
Okay.
I don't remember what it was called, but it was about some sort of like aggression virus that was going around, and it would trigger like the. Huh?
I say that sounds like most of them, but is it the one that's based on the webtoon, Home Sweet Home?
Let's see. Dark Hole is what it's called.
Oh, okay. Because I don't know the plot for Home Sweet Home. I'll be honest. I just know that it's
No, that one was about monsters, I think.
Was it about monsters? I thought it was zombies. See, that's how much I pay attention to Home Sweet Home.
Yeah, it's called Dark Hole. Let me see.
Okay.
A mysterious black fog comes out of a factory, turning people into bizarre figure. Yeah, it's basically very similar to Train to Busan, I guess.
Yeah,
you could think.
yeah. But it's a fog instead of it like actually being a virus.
Yeah. So, but they have a lot of stuff. Go back and listen to B.A.Ps. We said it in that episode. They do such a good job of blending rock with hip hop. Pink Fantasy is not with us anymore. That sounds horrible. Exactly. They are no longer together, but they have some great songs out there as well.
I already know Dreamcatcher. I know a couple of their songs through you and everything, but definitely I'm going to listen to All Hours a little bit more because it seems like that's more of the vibe that we grew up with.
Yeah. Very EDM, very rock and roll. Their new comeback isn't bad. It's just not what the last couple of ones have been.
Is it more poppy? Is that what it is?
It's a little more poppy, yeah. But not like in... I feel bad. This is the second time we've used these girls as a reference, but like it's not like Twice level of pop.
Okay. But Twice is the epitome of pop.
They really are, which is why I made the reference that Pink Fantasy is kind of like the anti-version of them. Which I guess you could kind of say that Dreamcatcher is almost like the anti-Blackpink and Red Velvet, where they're all very similar, like with their talents, but they do the darker tones versus what those two groups do.
Yeah, no, I can kind of see that, yeah.
Which, honestly, guys, Dreamcatcher does really well with pop as well. Go watch them perform Rock With You by 17 at KCON Germany.
Ooh,
it is so good.
Yeah, I remember seeing that too, and I was like, nice. It fits them really
well,
too.
They also do a cover of Bang 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 by Big Bang during some music festival out at Jeju Islands. They are so talented. I could go on forever just talking about them, but we'll have a full episode just dedicated to those girls.
Yeah, definitely. So excited for that one.
So thank you for listening to me rant this entire time like a fanboy. Next time, we will dive into K-hip-hop and rap, and I might have to keep account of how many times I have to get Anne back on topic.
I know, really. Yeah, and then our third one and our final one would be K-bands. So idols that are playing instruments and how, like where it started and how it's becoming right now in the present time.
Which will be fun to see how many times I say the word Fistland instead of FT Island.
FT Island. It's okay. I will say it. I will say FT Island.
But thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully we'll see you next time. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. If you have any other recommendations, let us know. If you fall down a Dreamcatcher rabbit hole, or maybe an All Hours one, let us know. We'd like to see where everyone's going to start adventuring.
Yeah, definitely. And then if there's any songs or music videos that we should maybe put in for the Dreamcatcher episode, we would like to hear that as well.
Oh, definitely. Insomnias, this is your chance. Also, side note, everyone should go and watch Metalheads react to Dreamcatcher. Some of the best content out there.
Yeah, I remember watching that one too, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty much how everyone should feel.
But thank you guys. We'll see you next time.
흥건해진 밤이 보는 길 봐 우리 뿌린 폰이고 걸리적거리는 윗도린 다리에 이 본능은 설레 나란 보는 설레 Let's get down with me 이거는 내꺼 맘대로만 봐 with it 난 흥이 좋지 실수들게 오늘 밤에서 평생이 오지